And this is where it gets pretty juicy. Ryan pointed to the growing appetite for this feature, remote play. He reported that over 5 million people used remote play last year, although this is still around 5% of the PS4's total user base. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing today? Just to start this whole topic of next generation and portable gaming, let's start it off with our friends over at Nintendo. This system, this thing right here, is nuts. It's selling like nuts. Honestly, to this day, it's 2019, about to be 2020, and this release, I got this in 2017, and I'm still amazed by just this product as a whole. And if you guys are new subscribers here, you should know that I am a very advocate for handheld portable gaming. Like, we're talking today at work, top 10 games from 2010 up until now. And I was thinking, my friend kept asking me, I'm like, yo, majority of that is going to be PSP games or Vita games, because I didn't even enter consoles until like 2014, 2015. Obviously, I played some others, and then N64, PS2, notably the two ones that I did own as a kid, but like I just wasn't that engrossed with them. Gaming wasn't as magical as it is now as it was when I was playing on those devices. It wasn't until I found a handheld device that I really fell in love with gaming. And if we think about the track record of Nintendo, where's my 3DS? This little guy has been their biggest seller, what's really been printing money for them. Honestly, to this day, I think by this time Switch is doing numbers. This is very obsolete at this point, but back in the day, just whenever Switch released, in 2017, this thing was still selling like hotcakes. I mean, Sun and Moon came out, what, 2016 or 2017? So yeah, up until the last Pokemon game got released, this thing was on fire. And with that being said, I've thought about this. It's kind of slipped my mind because a lot of new games have been releasing, but what are they going to do now, right? 3DS is definitely not coming back, right? They're not going to do something else, make another generation of this that's not like a 2DS or some 3DS variation. No. Are they going to do that? I don't think so. So my first question to you guys is, do you guys think the Switch, not even the Switch specifically, but the Switch model, what they're doing with this idea of combining portable and home console gaming into one system, do you think Nintendo will continue on this route? Do you think they're going to continue on this market, whereas I guess they just continuously make the Switch more powerful so it can continuously do more while also still being able to be handheld? But you can answer that question, but before you get too deep into that thought, streaming. This day and moving forward, this is how I feel. Game streaming is no longer a fad. This is a real venture that the industry is beginning to plummet into. Plummet, does that mean bad? Is that negative? I don't mean it to be negative. Every player is involved. And right, so before we get into that, my next question on the Nintendo side of things is, do you think they're going to follow suit? Now, the reason why this is big, and I want to kind of isolate this from the rest of the streaming talk, is because they have this thing going on, right? Every other console is bottlenecked. I will say bottlenecked because they did it to themselves. It's bottlenecked by the idea that they need to keep up a certain threshold of quality, whether that be through what comes out. No, it doesn't matter. Their first party titles itself need to output some type of high quality game, no matter what. We're not just talking about gameplay, right? Nintendo, we're talking about gameplay. Any other person, we're talking about the presentation of the graphics plus performance plus then the gameplay. Isn't it odd how now gameplay is the last thing? Whatever. I'm very curious to see what you guys think. I think yes. I think no matter what, every player will get into this space, but Nintendo, the same way that they're late and just kind of taking their jolly old time for every single venture, or should I say industry move, I think the same will happen here. So if we talk a little bit more about this streaming aspect real quick, like I said, everybody's joining in. You have Sony, who started PlayStation Now back in 2014, launched January, I think, 14th, 2014. Project Xcloud was officially revealed, announced in 2019, this year. They already had the Gamepass, which is kind of like Xcloud, but Xcloud is bringing that PlayStation Now aspect to their streaming, their service, because it wasn't a streaming service, it was a service. Now they're turning it into a streaming service. That's actually very interesting how they did that. I like that. Then we have the controllers of the world, of the internet, Google, with Google Stadia, which I just have now and I just tried. So if you're curious about that, be sure to check out up there my video reviewing that. Not really a review, but you get the idea. And then the new players, Amazon has been leaked to announce a game streaming service in 2020. 2020. Sony, Microsoft, and then random new players, Google and Amazon, have now joined the mix and are going through that game streaming route. So to take a little bit of a pivot, let's talk just about Sony right now, because now I think that's what we're all mostly concerned about. So if we look at my channel, it all kind of started about a year ago. When is this actual date? May 18th, 2018. So obviously not exact date, but that was around the time when the PlayStation Vita got announced to be ending production. That was just the US. And then fast forward a few months in later, Japan production for Vita also ends. But if we look at my channel, firstly, a year kind of shortly, actually the next video after that, 5G PSP model. That was the start of this whole streaming, mobile, handheld, speculation, thoughts for next gen began. Then we scroll up just a little bit later. I say Sony is not done with portable gaming. Just a very quick recap. John Codera. I'm not even sure what exactly the position is. I'm not even sure if he's still in that position because a lot of changes have been made throughout 2019. But he was basically saying that they see, portable gaming as a large part of their ecosystem. They need to keep it there. Continue, we can see right there, production ends in Japan. And then shortly after that, I have a video talking about PlayStation Vita Portable. It just makes sense. So in this video, I actually would very much encourage you guys to watch that, because I basically laid down my speculation and thoughts of why a portable streaming device complementing the PS5 would literally make sense and would just be a money printer in a sense. And then I think my last one right there is my 9-month one. I think that's the last one, yeah. So the last thing that I did say was talking about how they are making a portable device. So that was actually coming from my man Foxy Games UK. So actually this video, a little bit of that reasoning of why I'm making this video was part of this video right here. So shout out to him. Actually, I was just on one of his podcasts the other day too, so be sure to check that out. But in this video, he kind of was just talking about these rumors that was brought up, and one of those was about a portable device. So just to recap kind of everything, the idea is maybe PS5 releases with another set device not associated with the PS5 that can remote play all of your games. In his own video, he refers to this one post, PS5 update, fresh Sony PS5 links in a new P5. This is so you can see this one's recent, but they actually linked to this article. And this is the article that I was actually talking about and going over in my PS5G PSP model, coming from T3. So at the end of the day, they're talking about this leaked cartridge, but it's really just for their Sony Toyo things, right? This is not related to the mobile device, because at the end of the day, the theory is that it's going to be a streaming device. Even they said it, so I don't know where they got this cartridge idea from. They just wanted some clicks. They got their clicks. I can't, it's whatever. But this article right here sheds some nice light. Sony, next PlayStation success will depend on backwards compatibility and streaming. We're only going to go over the keynotes, the highlights. President and CEO Kenichiro Yoshida began with a breakdown of each area of the business. This is Sony, describing the game and network services division as the engine that enabled us to record historically high profit last fiscal year for the second consecutive year. He also expects PS4 to surpass 100 million sales worldwide by the end of 2019. This was back in 2018 of May. I believe, dude, like in 2-3 months after this, they hit 100 million. Yoshida centered his comments on the future of PlayStation around two keywords: immersion and seamless, alluding to both the increased power of the next console and the expansion of the streaming service PlayStation Now. So after that, they talk about the new console, new next generation console, but then he also says gamers will be able to enjoy their games, whether disc-based or download on other devices thanks to remote play, building on advancements made for the technology on the current generation. PS4 users can currently stream their games to PC and Xperia devices with an app called Added for iOS back in March, and plans for an Android app in the future. And this is pretty big. The remote play feature transforms these 100 million PS4s into streaming game servers, which can stream content from locations very close to users, said Yoshida. We plan to support this feature in our next generation console as well. Yoshida said he wants PlayStation users to be able to continue to play anytime and anywhere without feeling stress, a selling point that both its rivals are emphasizing. The portable nature of Nintendo Switch means players can continue games on the move, while Microsoft's Phil Spencer has previously said he wants the Gamepass subscribers to be able to access their service on any device. Thank you. Thank you for opening their eyes. That's why I kind of like this thing. And this is where it gets pretty juicy. In his own presentation, Ryan pointed to the growing appetite for this feature, remote play, as one of the concrete reasons that we feel the move to streaming is upon us. He reported that over 5 million people used remote play last year, although this is still around 5% of the PS4's total user base. It doesn't matter, because 5 million is a lot. Because what you see on Twitter, what you see by these articles makes you think that nobody uses it. It's propaganda. Don't listen to these fools. As interest in streaming services picks up, Sony hopes to capitalize on this with its established PlayStation Now offering. Yoshida says that this has the potential to expand PlayStation's addressable market, regardless of whether subscribers are a PS4 user or do not own a PS4 console at all. PlayStation Now currently has around 700,000 subscribers, but Ryan said investments have already been made to support 5 million. Later, during a Q&A with investors, Ryan said he did not expect expanding to 5 million subscribers will necessarily lead to a radical shift in demographic. The rollout has been steady and not rushed, he said. I make no apologies for that. We've been testing, learning, and iterating all the time to ensure that we expand and we're able to guarantee gamers a proper PlayStation experience that they can enjoy and we can be proud of. Now, I did shit on PlayStation Now in my own video, but it's because my PS4 offered me a bad experience. Now, my Wi-Fi is good, but my PS4 was not. I think that's the issue that we're not going to see in the PS5 era, hence, or kind of be simply predicated on a better Wi-Fi chip. If you think they're not going to put a better Wi-Fi chip in there, you're crazy, you know? So that's something that would get ruled out. If I have good Wi-Fi, it should just automatically work well. I don't want to stay on this too much, but there's just such good stuff. When later asked by investors about the quality of PlayStation Now, and indeed game streaming in general, Ryan emphasized that in all the feedback Sony receives, lag and breakage do not feature highly. We're never complacent. We're always trying to make it better, but this is not a critical area of weakness. At the end of the day, bro, it is predicated on your Wi-Fi. How is your bandwidth? Is there a lot of devices connected to your shit? Do you have a data cap? Things like that. If all of those are not exactly a problem, you will have a good experience. That's just the way it is, man. But I understand that kind of alone cuts out a large portion of people, but I will say we are still early in this, and I think in the future it's going to get more standardized. Regardless, Netflix is not going anywhere. Do you guys have trouble streaming Netflix? No. They're going to figure out a way to minimize the latency, minimize the bandwidth. Things are going to be adjusted and over time just better, you know? So yeah. So really, what am I trying to say? You know, we're talking about streaming this whole video. I mean, I think some of you guys can kind of put the pieces together. I personally think that handheld gaming is going to go away. The only people that will be holding on to it and keeping it for the longest will be Nintendo. Now, I haven't even talked about the whole connection between remote play and this whole PS Now. In my one video about the portable gaming, new portable device is incoming, that's kind of where I believe I talked about that whole connection. Remote play and PS Now are kind of like the same concept, right? So if they give us a dedicated device for either of these usages, think about it. We don't have to pay for PS Now. We can have our PS5 stream these games directly to us, or I can subscribe to PS Now, not only get my PS5 games since I just naturally own a PS5, but if I don't even own a PS5, I can still get that device to play PS Now, aka PlayStation games. PlayStation first party games could be played on this singular device. When you think about something like that, from a corporation standpoint, get out of your consumer mindset for a second. Get out of the consumer mindset for a split second. When you hear something like that, they don't have to manage outputting any new devices, new versions, none of that. They have to just take it in-house, do shit, and then release a device that can literally just has a Wi-Fi chip, right? That's it. From a company standpoint, it just makes 10,000 more sense, right? If you made a Vita, didn't do so well, why even waste money on that whole production side of things when you could just work on the hardware side, just put out a device like that, right? Nintendo makes more sense to be staying in that realm because they're doing very well, and that's just what they're known for. Naturally, they've always been a handheld-centered company, right? So that's why that makes sense, but I think for anybody else, I do not think we will be going down that route anymore. At the end of the day, why go down that route when your phone right here is more powerful than any device you could create? In a sense, more powerful in the sense of what you're going to get for size versus I think you get what I'm trying to say. Other than that, man, that's all I gotta say. So essentially my thoughts are, I think the whole handheld, I like to say handheld gaming because you know, handheld device, whereas portable can be seen as whether it's this, whether it's my phone, whether it's, you know, whatever. So I think handheld gaming is just about finished. Portable gaming is the wave, and how that is handled will be through streaming. And that's very prevalent with next generation. I didn't even talk about 5G in this video. That's a whole nother story. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts on this topic below. The last time I earlier this year when I was having these videos, people were a bit mad. Also, people have been asking me, like, what do you think, Jam, about this new PS5 portable device? Here you go. So other than that, that's all I gotta say. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Peace. I'm lost now when these people try to test. If you in my way, I'ma have to put you to rest. Yeah, I know it might sound complex,